A lot of moving and shaking in this week's power rankings. I'll give you my updating standings coming up next. Yo ho everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. Before we begin, make sure you go down below, click that like button, click the subscribe button, and make sure you click that little bell so you stay up to date on all the NHL happenings. So we'll go ahead and pop up a graphic here real quick, show you my rankings last week. For the bottom five, I had Detroit, Los Angeles, New York Rangers, Florida, and Arizona. And for the top five, I had Nashville, Tampa Bay, Colorado, Winnipeg, and Toronto as my top five teams. So let's see how they all kind of stack up now. We'll go ahead and start with the bottom five rankings. Number 5 in my bottom five right now, I have the Philadelphia Flyers. They are currently 4-7-0, have a minus 14 goal differential. Just not able to get a lot going offensively right now. Goaltending has always been an issue with the Flyers, continues to be their Achilles heel. The lack of scoring without Van Riemsdyk in the lineup really hurting them a lot right now, and just can't get a lot going. We'll see if they're able to turn that around in quick fashion, because there's a lot of really competitive teams in the East right now. Next up, number 4 on my list, I have the St. Louis Blues. They are currently 3-4-3. Minus 3 goal differential. This team is so hot and cold. Like, they had that game against Toronto last week where they looked good. Everything's showing for them, and it looks like they're the team that everybody thought they were going to be. And then, they're just not able to click on a consistent basis. They did have a very good game against Chicago again the other night, so good chance this might be just a temporary stop in the bottom five for St. Louis as they get things turned around. Los Angeles Kings, currently 3-7-1 with a minus 17 goal differential. I did not misspeak there. It is a minus 17. This team still has no offense. They're not fast enough. They can't keep up with the speed of the game right now. And they got Kovalchuk signed to a 5 or 6 year contract, whatever. I don't remember the terms of it exactly. We might be seeing the start of that kind of the changing of the guard in Los Angeles. We might see them start to look toward a rebuild, be it rebuilding the staff, or possibly considering moving some of their veterans out and retooling this team to get younger and faster. I read an article from the Toronto Sun the other day suggesting that moving Drew Doughty for William Nylander and Jake Gardiner would make sense for both sides. I don't think either side is interested in that deal right now, but as things progress and we get closer to that December 1st deadline, it's hard to say what Toronto might consider doing with the Nylander situation, especially with the Austin Matthews injury. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But right now, Los Angeles cemented firmly in my bottom five right now, and I don't see that changing in the near future. Number 2 on my bottom five is the New York Rangers, 3-7-1 with a minus 10 goal differential. This is a team, they're rebuilding. They've announced to their fan base that they're rebuilding. The fans are kind of embracing the rebuild, which is good for the team. Bringing in David Quinn, nice young head coach. He's going to start to put the system in place, put the pieces in place. He's going to have a huge influence on their personnel moves and people that he wants in his system. And I think that's going to help the rebuild. As long as the management and the coaching staff are on the same page, I think that helps a lot with the rebuild. I don't think New York is too embarrassed about being down here in this bottom five as they continue to rebuild. There's a lot of nice draft pieces coming up in this upcoming draft. So being a bottom five team isn't going to hurt your future that much. Number 1, they're standing tall at number 1 right here is the Detroit Red Wings. They are 2-7-2 with a minus 18 goal differential. They did get a nice win over Dallas the other day, but Dallas on the road has been an atrocity. They've been such a bad road team. Not surprising that Detroit was able to pick up that win. Detroit still has a nice young team in place. Still rebuilding. They got a couple of heavy contracts coming off of the books next year that's going to help them a lot. And we'll see how they're able to utilize that cap space next year, depending on what the free agent market looks like. But I do look for Detroit to rebound next year. But as for right now, in my Week 2 power rankings, I have them as the number 1 team in my bottom 5. For reference, that means I think they are the worst team in the league right now. So we'll move on to the top 5. A couple of repeat offenders here, and a couple of new faces in this top 5. Number 5 in my top 5 is the Edmonton Oilers. Remember last week I had mentioned they were threatening to be in the bottom 5. In just a week, they've turned it around, starting with that overtime loss to the Penguins. Then they went on to win 3 straight. So a very good week for Edmonton. They're now 6-3-1. Still -1 in the goal differential. If they can get some of their depth players to start contributing offensively, that will be the turning point for the Edmonton Oilers when their depth starts clicking like that top line is. Connor McDavid is still Connor McDavid. He's still the best player in the NHL from a skill level standpoint. I know that debate will go on and on and on and on, but for me, it's Connor McDavid. He's the best player in the league right now, and I think he is going to keep them relevant for the foreseeable future. Number 4 on my list, dropping 1 spot here, I have the Colorado Avalanche. They are 7-3-2 with a plus 14 goal differential. That top line is playing out of their mind right now. Rantanen, Landeskog, and Nate McKinnon. I like Landeskog's response the other night. He did an on-ice interview after the game, and he says, "Do you think you're the best line in hockey?" And he says, "Yeah, I do." And I kind of have to agree with them right now. I think they're the best top line in hockey right now. They're playing out of their mind. Rantanen has 21 points. McKinnon has 18. Landeskog's up there with 14, 15, 16 points, somewhere in that ballpark. Just all around playing really good hockey from that top line. You would like to see a little bit more depth scoring from them, but outside of that, you're not going to get much complaints from me about Colorado. Number 3 on my list, I have the Nashville Predators. They are 8-3-0 with a plus 10 goal differential. Number 2 and 3 I had really close, and I almost changed them around after the other night. But a couple of back-to-back disappointments for Nashville here. They've dropped a couple of games, but I still think they are probably the best team in the Western Conference right now. Their defense is second to none. They do have the Pekka Rinne injury right now, which is probably hurting them a little bit. I don't think I like Saros in a backup role. I don't know if he's ready for a 60-game schedule or whatnot, but they're going to find out real quick what they have with UC Saros, and they'll continue to work with him and get him better and get him ready for the long haul. But right now I have Nashville at number 3. Number 2 on this list, and there was a reason I wanted to drop them down. Tampa Bay Lightning 7-2-1 with a plus 5 goal differential. That game in Arizona, that was one to forget for Tampa Bay. They do have the Victor Hedman injury to worry about now. Andre Palat is scheduled to miss some time now with an injury, so we'll see how that affects them going forward. But a team that still has Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov, a Vezina candidate, and Andrei Vasilevsky. They're going to be a threat, and I still think they are a threat moving forward. We'll see how they rebound and how they play during this stretch of time when they got to face some adversity with the injuries. I still have them number 2, like I said. I was real close, teetering between 2 and 3 with Tampa, but I wasn't really sure how I wanted to score them. Number 1 on this list, and this one kind of surged out of nowhere, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's not scream bias here. I know you guys look at the background and you see, oh, hey, he's a Penguins fan. Of course he's going to say the Penguins are the best team in the NHL right now. Well, the Penguins are on a 4-game winning streak. The Penguins just swept through Canada, Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary, swept the entire the Canadian road trip, was able to get a sweep through there, played really well the whole time. That 9-1 drubbing of Calgary, 5-0 in Vancouver, 6-5. They're scoring goals pretty much at will. Sidney Crosby was just named the number 1 star of the week for the NHL. Evgeny Malkin has 9 points in his last 4 games. He's averaging 2 points per game. Phil Kessel now has 7 goals. Patrick Hornquist is scoring. They're getting great goaltending from Matt Murray and Casey DeSmith, both from me. Right now, yeah, I think Pittsburgh is the best team in the NHL right now. Call it bias if you want to. I'm just putting down what I see. And I think right now they're the best team in the NHL. Feel free to disagree. That's what that comment section down below is for. Go ahead. Let's start this debate. Get it going. Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on the video. Follow me on all the social media listed in the description below. Also, huge shout out during the Vancouver-Pittsburgh game. Had a nice little friendly wager with Canuck Clay Emo on YouTube. I'll link his channel in the description below. We had a friendly little banner where we just basically mock allegiances to each other. As to who won, Pittsburgh obviously won. He did a video over there joining Yinzer Nation. So welcome to Yinzer Nation, Clay. Glad to have you aboard. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Again, the description, all the Twitter and the Patreon, all that fancy social media stuff down in the description below. Comments are down there. Open forum down there for sure. And until I see you next time, have a good